A unit circle is a circle with a radius of 1, a unit radius. In trigonometry, the unit circle is centered at the origin. By the Pythagorean theorem, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. The hypotenuse is 1, so 1 squared is equal to x squared plus y squared. Therefore, we have x squared plus y squared is equal to 1. And we know that the lengths are x and y. Therefore, sine theta will be equal to y over 1, which is y. And cosine theta will be equal to x over 1, which is x. Tangent will be sine, which is y, over cosine, which is x. If angle theta is in standard position in the unit circle, cosine theta is x, and sine theta is y. Now, tangent theta will be y over x. And since x squared plus y squared is equal to 1 in the unit circle, sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta will be equal to 1. If t is a real number and x, y represent a point on the unit circle, sine t will be y cosine t x, and tangent t y over x. In this figure, the unit circle has been divided into 8 equal arcs, each worth 45 degrees or pi over 4. 0, pi over 4, pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, pi, 5 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4, and 2 pi. Notice that the coordinate of the angle and its reference have the same absolute value. We just have to adjust the sign according to the quadrant. And the range is for sine and cosine is between -1 and 1 largely. For given a point P, square root of 2 over 2, negative square root of 2 over 2, corresponding to t, we need to find the 6 trigonometric functions of t. Now, p is in the unit circle, therefore p is of the form cosine t sine t, and sine t is y, so sine t is negative square root of 2 over 2. Cosine t is x, cosine t is square root of 2 over 2. Tangent t is sine t over cosine t, so tangent t is -1. Cosecant t is the reciprocal, -2 over square root of 2. When we rationalize it, it'll be negative square root of 2 when we cancel 2. Secant is 2 over square root of 2. When we rationalize it, it'll be 2 square root of 2 over 2, which is just square root of 2. Now, cotangent t is also equal to -1. Let us do another example. P this time is equal to negative square root of 3 over 2, -1/2. And P is in the unit circle, therefore P is of the form cosine t sine t. Now, sine t represents y, so sine t is negative 1/2. Cosecant t will be negative 2 over 1, which is negative 2. Cosine t represents x, so cosine t is negative square root of 3 over 2. Secant t will be negative 2 over square root of 3. When rationalized, it'll be negative 2 square root of 3 over 3. Tangent t is sine over cosine. If we eliminate 2, we get 1 over square root of 3, which is really square root of 3 over 3 when rationalized. And cotangent t, the reciprocal of 1 over square root of 3, square root of 3. P is equal to negative 1, 0. And P is of the form cosine t sine t, since P is a point on the unit circle that matches t. So sine t is 0, cosine t is negative 1, tangent t is 0 over negative 1, which is 0. Cosecant t is 1 over 0, therefore it's undefined. Secant t is the reciprocal of cosine t, so it's 1 over negative 1, which is negative 1. Cotangent t is the reciprocal of tangent, negative 1 over 0, it's undefined. P is equal to negative square root of 2 over 2, negative square root of 2 over 2. Once again, P is of the form cosine t sine t. P is a point on the unit circle corresponding to t. Sine t is minus square root of 2 over 2. Cosine t is minus square root of 2 over 2. Tangent t is positive 1, sine over cosine. Cosecant t is just minus square root of 2. Secant t is minus square root of 2. And cotangent t is 1.